I felt very compelled to make this video, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. This band makes some of the strangest music I've ever heard. And of course, I'm talking about microtonal guitars, impossible rhythms, alien costumes, and somehow they just went massively viral, which doesn't make a lot of sense because this isn't the kind of music that usually blows up. So the question is, why does it actually work? And more importantly, why are so many people hooked on something that on paper shouldn't work, especially for Western audiences? Because once you break it down, there's actually very specific reasons for why this band took off the way it did. And it says a lot about where music and culture is right now. And the first thing that struck me is just their instant visual identity. It's a very unique and instant first impression. That's already a visual and concept hook by itself. Their black and white alien costumes immediately grab your attention because it's simple, it's bold, and super easy to understand within seconds. You see this huge guy with a triangle on his head and this other guy playing the drums with a Squidward nose, and immediately you're like, what the hell is that? And the crazy thing is that this actually gives cohesion to their concept. It's aliens making alien sounding music, at least alien sounding to Western ears. Their visual and sound identity are perfectly aligned. And it's not just random weirdness. It's intentional world building and intentional lore creation, intentional music making. Now, the deeper you go with it, the more complex it'll get. And that's what keeps people watching. Because the thing is that the music feels impossible. And that's the point. The music is sonically novel to Western ears because it has microtonality going on. And microtonality or microtones is just to say that there are more than the standard 12 notes in the scale. And this feels very exotic and alien and even kind of unpredictable to Western ears. And that creates curiosity, creates tension. Because the thing is that technically this is insane. The guitarist actually has the microtonal double neck guitar bass combo instrument thing. And if that's enough, he's actually live looping everything he's doing and keeping that in complete sync. And the drummer's just grooving on that. And he never misses a single beat. So there's some very extremely intricate coordination going on between these two musicians from beginning to end. And one of the things that really stands out about their music is that it's very much texture over harmony even. It's more single note based, more riff based. It's not to say that there isn't harmony in their music. The guitarist harmonizes with himself plenty throughout their breakout live session on KEXP, but usually they're more single note riffs. These riffs, they're angular, they're rhythmic, and it's very energetic. They play with a sense of intent and making no apologies for that. So it feels more like sound exploration than standard songs almost. I think the real secret sauce here that isn't being discussed as much is the drummer, because the rhythm here is what really makes this click. The repetition through looping creates familiarity with the riff, creates repetition and makes the riff recognizable, but the groove is what anchors it for the listener, and it creates energy and keeps that energy sky high throughout the whole set, because there's this rhythmic constant exploration and variation throughout their music, throughout their song. So the drummer will start out playing in one rhythm, and then throughout as the song evolves, he'll quickly reinterpret where the rhythmic accents can be for that, or even what time signature we can feel that riff in. Transforms these static loops into evolving songs, into evolving soundscapes, and they deploy a jazz fusion and math rock level of musical creativity here. We're talking constantly changing metric modulations, and what's usually very static, in other words looping, becomes actually something very incredibly dynamic. They turn into something that's constantly evolving, something that is actually extremely dynamic as the song goes on. And this elevates their music from being just loops into being full-on epic masterpieces. And there's also a very interesting cultural phenomenon that I've seen happen with these guys that a lot of people have mentioned in a lot of their comments on their videos. And there's a timing and cultural zeitgeist going on because we're currently living in a time that feels very AI dominant. People trying to cram AI down our throats, and a lot of people are actually kind of sick of it. And the timing for this band just feels so otherworldly. It feels like all the planets lining up in such a specific way. We're flooded in the musical market that's full of overproduced and artificial content, and out comes this band that dresses up the way that they dress up and makes the kind of music that they make. And don't get me wrong, this isn't the first time a rock band has used microtonal scales, for example, and instruments. You know, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard has done it before, but if you look at King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and you look at their pictures, they're basically wearing t-shirts and jeans. But these guys, they turn it into a whole full-blown concept. It's not just the music. You come for the crazy, wacky outfits, but you stay for the music. It feels raw, it feels inspired, it feels something that you just cannot artificially generate. It's live, it's evolving, it's dynamic. It really feels raw, human, and real. And they barely said a word, but they were unapologetically them. And I think that's where the real magic lies with this band. It's not just the music, it's not just the concept or the looks, it's how they combine these things. Again, it's aliens making alien music. So this band didn't go viral despite being weird. They went viral because they made weird feel intentional, structured, and honestly kind of addictive. They combined visual identity, musical complexity, and raw human performance in a way that just feels like a breath of fresh air for so many of us who are tired of what's going on the musical landscape at this time. And Rick Beato said something to this effect, but this might be a glimpse of where music is headed next. But the thing is that I don't necessarily mean that we'll see a lot of bands using microtonal instruments, although I certainly hope so. That would be great. But I mean it more in the sense that hopefully this will inspire more musicians to actually get more creative and think outside of the box with their projects, with their bands, to remember that weird is actually your superpower in music, in art, and in life. At least that's what I hope for moving forward in the current musical climate. Now, if you actually want to understand how to create and navigate sounds on your guitar with that level of confidence, I've put together a free guide for you called 3 Steps to Fretboard Mastery. It's designed to help you break out of common patterns and actually understand what you're playing on the instrument so you never get lost on the guitar again. If that interests you at all, you can grab it at the link in the description down below. And until next time, keep practicing.